guys, this is an extension off from the short series on talking about stroke, measurement, form, method, and design. And we were talking about measurement last time, and I just wanted to go into a principle here. So this picture on the left was traced. It was traced, and then I did a little bit of blending over the hair so that it looks a little bit more sculpty or whatever. But you can see it's very rigid. It's very dependent on these things, um, like on the exactness of lines. But when we did everything through like triangulation, ratios, angles, side sides, and other things like using stroke and form to assist the understanding of like the design and the structure of it, I created something more flowy as a basis, right? So what I want to tell you is what is the difference between these other than rigidness and how much can be edited. So the rigid form, you can't really edit it too much because you don't understand what makes anything important. And because of that, you have to stick closer exactly to that form. Because if you change it or alter it, it's going to look wonky. Well, with this, I understand all the different ideas and concepts behind it so I can change and alter it. Now, that's one aspect of why this was the first drawing, and then like I changed and organized it beside it, right? Yep. Meep, 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 meep. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, sorry. Uh, okay, so what we're going to do is remove this lady. There we go. Now we've got room. Got room. She's out of the way. Yay! We're going to talk about resistance. Resistance. Resist. Ants? Ants. Yeah. No. Sorry. I'm just purposely annoying everybody. Okay, so we've got resistance and interpretation. Interpretation. So when you interpret something, there is a kind of gravity to an interpretation that is literal. So something that's literal, this says, interpret it exactly the way that I tell you. Interpret it, this has this structure, this has this structure, exactly. This is the structure, this is the thing, this is exactly it. Look at it exactly this way. And me putting on rhythm lines is actually helping this. But anyways, it's telling you exactly what to see. And that creates this interpretive resistance where you don't get to make an interpretation. It is literal. It is literally exactly what it's shown as. And if you look at it differently, then you're wrong. That's a problem. In art, what you want is you want to lower the interpretive resistance. Lower it. Lower it. Give it flow so that it flows and flicks. Because then you can interpret it any way that you like. So that you can be like, oh, I can see this in it and I can see that in it. And there's like a flow and an energy and a physics and things to this that I kind of like the feeling of. Whoa, there's like a swish and a swirl and a flick. Yeah, I like that more. And then this has to have like a thing here, which then has a thing here. So what this is about is reducing interpretive resistance so that you can choose and select and feel what you want to feel in the thing. So that could be bad. Like it could lead you to something that you're like, oh, I don't like the interpretive, the way that it kind of gives me freedom to interpret this. I want it a little bit more locked down. And there's going to be a balance of that interpretation and the resistance you want. So you'll have to control for that as well. But if you trace or copy from a reference too much, and yes, reference can be evil too, um, essentially what's going to happen is you're going to remove the flow of interpretive, like having lower interpretive resistance. And removing that flow gives you something more solid and immovable, unchangeable. And when it is unchangeable, you can't add things that give it rhythm and energy. And that makes it so that you can't turn it into a design. And when it's not designed, you can't stylize it. You can't say, this is the way that I want the hair to be stylized. This is the way that I want it to be changed to represent the thing that I'm seeing here. Like I want this stylization of this part of the hair so that sweeps and has rhythms, and maybe this comes up like this, and maybe this one is actually a bit more whatever. You can change and alter things, and then that allows you to alter the feeling, the rhythm, the interpretation, and that gets you somewhere much further in your art process than, say, if you were to follow something too closely from reference, where you can't anymore adjust anything or do anything. So interpretive resistance, simple concept. Um, it just means that essentially you want to break people's literal interpretation. If they have a literal interpretation, you want to erase that. You want to break it. It's like, no, break that. And then you take them into a flowing interpretation, something just subtly different that has form and stroke and a kind of language of its own, so that then you can alter it, then you can change it, then you can shift it, then you can move it, then you can reposition the person to have like these rhythmic feelings rather than to have something nonsense. I've not created a good hairstyle here, whatever. um okay, I'm just doodling, but hey, um you don't want to copy or go on a reference too much, except to pick out ideas of design or something like that. Like obviously you're going to take some references at some point, even if it's references from imagination, from like your memory, whatever. You're going to be taking a reference to some degree. But the thing is, the closer that you push towards what a reference was or is or whatever, the more that it's going to limit what you can do. And so the better that you understand it, the more that you can interpret things, and the more freedom people have to interpret things. And that's ultimately what you want. So give people the freedom to interpret something much more than they would from the reference photo. That's the goal as an artist. All right, take care. Have fun. Bye.